Dude, I don't know if you guys, some of you work jobs, some of you don't. If you work office jobs, there's some office lingo that I have long resisted and now succumbed to. And one of the ones I took the longest time to try to not say is true north. I think true north, it's just such a fucking, it's like synergy, dude. And I say zoom out all the time. I think zoom out's great. If you want to seem smart in a meeting, what you say is, well, we need to find the true north here. And it's basically what a compass does is finds true north. You're trying to find, well, what's our actual goal in this meeting? But you can't just say that. You got to sound smart. So you say true north. Yeah, net is another one. It's also a combination to say the word net as many times in a row as you can. Some business meetings, two high-powered executives will sit across from each other and say the word net back and forth. And whoever lasts the longest gets promoted, and whoever doesn't gets fired. Bandwidth is a big one. If you guys don't work corporate environments, everyone refers to themselves as a machine, and they talk about how much bandwidth they have. If I'm trying to say I'm busy and I don't want to say fuck off, I got to say, actually, don't have a lot of bandwidth for that right now. Just say I'm busy. I'm busy. That's rude. Imagine you're talking to a superior. Maybe there's somebody higher up than you. They're like, hey, can you work on this project? You can't say I'm busy. I'm busy says fuck you. You can't say I'm busy. So what you say is, I'm really limited on bandwidth right now. Maybe if we could reallocate some of my resources from another project to this one, I could do it. And that makes the work on their end. So now they have to go to your boss and find a way to make you take off other projects. Let's circle back is classic. You could probably, I think half of corporate America is two people saying, let's circle back on this, back and forth until both of them die. I'm pretty sure there's just 5 trillion meetings in our economy that have been stalled on a let's circle back for till the end of time. If we could just circle back for once, I bet our economy would double. I think America would rocket past China. My favorite is glocal, which I've never heard anyone use, but I use it ironically all the time. If anyone ever says global or local, in my mind, I think glocal and I smile. I say glocal all the time. We got to think glocally, boys. Glocal sounds so dumb. Yeah, on purpose. That's why it's great. And you saying that makes me think you're not thinking glocally enough. And I find that to be quite far from our true north here on this stream. Okay? We might act globally, but we think glocally. Okay? Remember that. It's wise. Write that down, actually. When I worked at Twitch, one of the big buzzwords was move the needle. Well, that's not going to move the needle. This needs to move the needle. And what that means in buzzword speak is this idea is not big enough. Move the needle. Ooh, I used to make fun of move the needle all the time. As per my last email. As per my last email is something I've never written my entire life. If you write as per my last email, you are in corporate America saying, I want to fight you. You are my open enemy. If you write as per my last email, you're saying, fuck off, fucktard. This is a line that we've crossed, and I don't like you. Everyone knows it. Everyone on the reply all knows that if you say, per my last email, you are saying fuck you in a not even a nicer way. I'd rather someone say fuck you to me. CC, fuck you, than say as per my last email. Take this offline. It's really funny. Take this offline. Let's say you're in a meeting. I'm trying to explain this for Zoomers, okay? Let's say you're in a big Zoom call meeting or WebEx or whatever, and someone brings up a point like, oh, actually, how did the last project go? How did that spend go on that last project? And if the person who owns that project goes, oh, well, you know, the numbers are in, they're pretty solid. Let's take it offline. Let's discuss it more offline. What that means is it did not go well, and I don't want you to talk about it in front of all these people. Take this offline as a way to say, I don't want to talk about it ever again. In military, they say landline if your officer wants to cuss you out but can't do it on radio. That's amazing. Can I tell a military story? I wasn't in the military. No, my father was, and I grew up on military bases. I lived on military bases. So my entire life growing up, I lived on military bases or near military bases. And my father got to be pretty high in the military. He started out, when I was a little kid, he just enlisted. But by the time I was growing up, he became a colonel and a commander, and he retired as a colonel, like one step below the bottom of general, so 1-star general. He was almost at 1-star general, but it would have required him to stay longer, and he didn't do that, so he retired. But he was pretty high up, and at one point, he was the commander of the 606th Air Control Squadron in Germany, okay? And when I was, let's say, I must have been 12 or 13, a little shit, by the way. I was rude to my parents because we moved all the time, and I got fucking into games, and I just was like a little shit, all right? And at one point, I bleached my hair blonde like Eminem, and I was just an asshole, all right? I just wasn't nice to my parents, and and I love my parents, and I have apologized since then, but I wasn't good, okay? All right? My rap game was on point, dude. My bars?
That's an awfully
my
hot
bars
coffee
were
pot.
fire. Don't worry about that. My bars were fire, but my relationship with my parents was strained. Honestly, yeah. So I was a badass. Yes, of course. That's what I'm saying. I was a 12-year-old with blonde hair. So yeah, I was badass. Who thought he was Slim Shady. Nothing cooler than a 12-year-old who thinks they're Eminem, all right? So yes. Sounds like Yellow Wolf? Yeah, literally, if I had just started rapping, I would have been Yellow Wolf, exactly. I'm talking about Yellow Wolf. Talking about, yeah, almost all, I'm fucking Machine Gun Kelly, dude. Anyway, so I did that. One day, instead of being able to go home after school, usually my mom would pick me up from school and take me home. But my mom had to do something. So my dad was like, all right, the base is not far from school. Actually, the school was on base. His office wasn't far from the school. And he's like, all right, I'm picking you up from school, but you got to come with me to work because I'm not done yet. So you just got to sit in my office and chill. And I was like, no, Dad. Fuck. I mean, fudge. I'm 12. Fudge. I want to go home and work on my rhymes and play Age of Empires. I got shit to do, Dad. Come on. And he's like, I don't care. Come on. Get in here, you little shit. So he puts me in his office. He buys me Subway. There was Subway on the base. I get a Subway sandwich. I get a Subway sandwich and Lay's potato chips. And this is important. This is the gun in screenwriting. This is the gun you put on the table in scene 1 that goes off in scene 3. You build to this, okay? I got Subway sandwich and Lay's potato chips, all right? This is Chekhov's gun, yes. This is Chekhov's gun in screenwriting, okay? So I am posted up in the corner of his office, and I'm just sitting there on the floor. I think I was playing Game Boy or some shit. Actually, I was reading a book, maybe Animorphs, something like that. Just reading my book, macking on my Subway sandwich. Back of my chips. Crunch. Okay? And I'm just tuned out, dude. I'm really just tuned out. And then this young airman, like a guy who's probably 21. So at the time, he's much older than me because I'm 12. But looking at him now, he was like a kid, dude. He was like just a young guy. He didn't know what he was doing. He's in Germany. By the way, this is all in Germany. So this kid has been like shipped off from somewhere in America right out of fucking high school. And he's in Germany. And he hates his life. And he's just sad. And he got super drunk the night before and had gotten in trouble. And my dad has to yell at him. That was my dad's job, is he has to yell at him. Okay? So let me try to paint the picture for you. The door opens, and I'm like behind the door, and my dad's desk is on the right. So if you come in the door, you look to the right to see my dad at his desk, and you look to the left to see me. This kid does not look to the left. He turns to the right. He sees my dad. My dad tries to be calm at the beginning. My dad's like, hey, Private Johnson. I don't know what his name was. What were you doing last night? I got all these reports. What were you doing? Yeah, you got out of trouble. And he's like, oh, sir, I'm sorry, but it was this guy's fault. I mean, this kid tries to defend himself, dude. This kid should have just said, sir, yes, sir. But he's like, no, dude. No, sir, it was like this. It was like, and then my dad starts getting fucking heated. As I've seen, I can relate, dude. By the way, I can relate with this kid. I can feel for him. But my dad starts yelling at him. And this kid starts getting fucking heated. He's getting sweaty. He's on the verge of tears, dude. He's like, no. He's just fucking losing it. All right? And they're having a pretty intense conversation. And at the end of it, this kid is about to cry. My dad has yelled him into submission. My dad is his superior officer and is like, you are not taking responsibility. You know, if you're going to have a job here and a career in the military. Anyway, so this goes on. And then his voice cracks and I basically hear a sob. To this day, I don't know if he actually cried, but he was essentially crying, okay? And he's like, all right, I'm sorry, sir. And right in the middle of him saying that, I eat a Lay's potato chip. And the room goes dead silent. My dad has forgot I was there, and this kid never knew. This kid never knew I was there. And he turns around, and he's so embarrassed. And my dad looks at me, and he's pissed off. My dad's pissed off because why would I do that? Why would I choose that moment to fucking... I was hungry. That's the answer, Dad. The answer is I was fucking hungry. So my dad... Crying just thinking about it. It's so funny. And my dad wants to yell at me now. I can tell right in that moment, my dad is fucking staring daggers at me. And he's already heated. He wants to yell at me, but he's not going to do it in front of the private. So I just got this private off. Oh my God. So now I want the private to stay so I don't get yelled at. But I can't. I have no control. Oh, so my dad's like, all right, Private Johnson, you could go. You could get out. And I'm like, well, you know, I mean, Private Johnson might need to learn some more lessons. Like, let's continue this dialogue. But he gets out of there, and then my dad's fucking pissed at me just because I was eating the food that he bought me. But anyway, I saved that private's life. That private? George Bush. Grew up to be president. My dad yelled at me for a bit, but I think almost by the next day, he actually thought it was pretty funny. So it was a bonding moment.
Little do you know how I'm breaking while
for
you
Private
fall
Johnson.
Asleep. Little do you know, underneath it all, I'm held captive by the hole inside. I've been holding back for the fear that you might change your mind. I'm ready to forgive you, but forgetting is a harder fight.
Little do you know,
I need
a little more time.